Very good morning to all of you. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we are starting a new topic, the marketing philosophy. So sometimes we call them as marketing orientations as well. Some textbooks simply they call marketing concepts. Okay, whatever the term you use, we are going to discuss what are the different perspectives that typically guide marketing thinking. So there are alternative philosophies, so the kind of mindset of marketers, right, guiding their thinking, guiding their practices, guiding their decisions, likewise. Okay. So that is what we are going to talk today. And I'm Professor Lalit Chandalal, attached to the Department of Marketing Management, right? So you can call me just Lalit sir. I think that is enough about me, and we continue to the topic. Right. So as I told you, there are different viewpoints about how we approach the market, right? So basically, if you look at the marketing history, several marketing philosophies or the orientations have emerged in the marketing field. For example, production orientation, product orientation, sometimes we call concept, selling concept, marketing concept, societal marketing concept, and the latest one, holistic marketing concept. So all these different philosophies guide the marketing practices, how they approach the market, how they make the decisions differently. Okay. So simply, we can understand a marketing philosophy as a kind of simple assumption about the marketplace. So that's the easiest way that we can understand the meaning of marketing philosophies, right? Simply, what do you think of your customer? What do you think of your market? Right? So when you approach the market, what are the assumptions that underpin your approach? How you think of your customers? Now, for example, if you take a general example, if you think that your superior, your boss, is a kind of very open-minded, very friendly person, the way, and that's your assumption about your boss. The way you approach is different when you assume that your boss is a kind of very hard nut, very difficult person to deal with. So when you approach the same person, depending on your assumption, so you approach the person differently. Right? So same thing happens here. If you think about your customer or the market, they are like X. The way you approach the market is different. Then, if you think your customer are like Y, they are different. You assume they are different. Then your approach is different. Obviously, right? So that's the way that we can easily understand marketing philosophies. So likewise, marketers have thought of customers or their market under production orientation, product concept, likewise. The oldest one, actually, the production orientation. Now, if you look at the marketing, the evolution of marketing, the production orientation is the first scientific thinking. That is what first we need to understand, right? So if you look at the development of societies, you know that we have passed agrarian societies, economies, where the agriculture was the dominant, right? So thereafter, so the manufacturing system, right, or this entire economy is shifted to another, right, dramatical change. That is what we call industrial revolution, right? So after that, the manufacturing systems or how we produce, consume, suddenly changed. So during agrarian economy, right, there were some industries. They are mostly household-based one. With the industrial revolution, this manufacturing system shifted from small-scale household-based manufacturing production systems to large-scale factory-based manufacturing system. Now, with that change, now the manufacturers face a problem. Right? Now, actually, during the lecture, right, you can anytime you can disturb me. Actually, engage in a discussion. This should be a one-way lecture. Okay. So this is not an undergraduate program; it's a master's. So you have to be talkative. Don't be silent. Right. Now, so when this shift, the change happened, so the manufacturers were facing a big problem. Can you guess that? So when the manufacturing system shifted from household-based, small-scale manufacturing methods to large-scale factory-based manufacturing system. So now the manufacturers face something new problem, new issue. What's that? So they produce in large volumes. So that leads to another problem. What's that? So when you produce suddenly, you like produce the product in large volumes. So what is the next problem that you encounter?
Mass distribution.
Mass distribution. Now why? Now when you produce more than enough to you in the house, well, the previous system actually we are self-sufficient. We produce.
There's excess.
Sorry.
There's excess goods.
Yeah. Then what you have to do? You have to sell it. You have to sell that. Now, this was the major concern. How now these companies started producing the output in bulk volume. So until that time, actually the manufacturing system, the producers, farmers actually did not want marketing. Formal kind of thinking to how to market, right? But with this sudden change in the manufacturing system, now we require scientific thinking how to market, how to sell these excess products, right? The first scientific thinking that how you can sell your product is the production concept. This is the first scientific thinking, right? Marketing subject, actually marketing as a discipline, started to evolve with this concept, first scientific thinking. And this scientific first thinking was further, this philosophy was further supported, facilitated, backed by another important incidents, the First World War and the Second World War, right? So after the countries faced, underwent through two massive level of wars, right? Now you can see that a lot of people, countries were suffering from economic problems at the end of the Second World War. Not only Asian countries, even Europe. So they were struggling to survive. thousands of people died without having electricity during the winter time. People did not have jobs. So in that context, with the there are companies producing product in large volume, and particularly after the Second World War, right? People did not have money, they cannot afford production, and not only that, actually there were shortages of products in the market. So this context, right, actually this context was the ideal context for this philosophy to pop up and split. So what does this concept, right, hold? So please read. So the first scientific guiding of marketing thinking. The production concepts holds that consumers will favor. That is your assumption, as I told you. So when you do marketing, first you need to assume about your customer. Right? Consumers will favor products that are widely available and highly affordable. That is what you think of your customers. That is your assumption about your marketplace. So what we have to do? So as a manager, you should focus on improving production and distribution efficiency. Right? So why we go with the production and distribution efficiency, particularly the production efficiency? So with the efficiency, what we can achieve?
Reduce the cost.
Reduce the cost. They are like go hand in hand. Right? So when you try to improve the efficiency, the final result outcome is the reduction of the cost. You can bring the cost down. So why you need to bring the cost down? Cost down? Why?
Maximize the profit.
Sorry?
Maximize the profit.
No. Look at the customer's point. Why you try to bring the cost down? Because
Make
customers
affordable.
prefer,
Make affordable.
yes, low price products, affordable products. So that is right. So if the marketplace is price sensitive, they don't have money to buy good products, right? Actually, after the Second World War, there were shortages of products. The people problem was not to buy better products. That was not the problem, issue, concern. Their problem was how to buy a product, because there were shortages of products in the market. So, and the other concern is how you can find cheap products because you don't have money, right? So in that context, actually this philosophy flourished. So these are very important, right? So anything occurs in a context. So understanding, okay, this concept, right, says that one, that's not enough. So what is more important is to understand why this philosophy emerged and why this philosophy is today outdated, mostly. That's the most important thing to understand. So the companies actually which were guided by this philosophy, it's the first right, way of guiding the business people, the first scientific thinking. So they focus more on production efficiency. Actually, they use those days they were familiar with only the mass production, right? So mass production was the production technique they used. So when you produce a product in large volume, right? Usually you know that you can reduce the cost, right? So that is basic economic rule here. Right, so when you produce a quantity in large volume, you can remember the average cost curves comes down. Similarly, if you go to the large scales, right? Scales mean that not the volume of the output, you go to the larger size of the business. The scale is not the quantity, scale of the business. If you tend to become more and more large business, you experience, you enjoy economies of scale. I think you're familiar with these concepts, right? Economic concepts. So all these things, facilitate to bring the cost down with large manufacturing system. And also the assembly system, division of labor, specialization, right? All these things go with mass production. So you actually companies reduce the cost, right? And not only that, they use mass distribution because there were shortages of products. People admire if a product is available. that was something positive plus right point for the product. If a product is widely available, people can easily afford, find the product, right? And when you produce a product in large volume, you have to sell to each and every customer, right? So those days, companies did not practice target marketing. So their problem was how to sell their product to anyone. So they use mass communication, they use mass media to let people know, right? So mass production is followed by mass distribution, is followed by mass communication. So mass production, mass distribution, mass communication, together we call mass marketing. It is mass marketing. So what is the point here? During the production era, the production philosophy was the dominant marketing scientific thinking. Companies followed the production philosophy as the success formula, right? And that time period is called production era. So during that time period, right, so usually companies use mass marketing. So mass marketing is characterized by mass production, mass distribution, and mass communication. Telling one message to each and every customer. What we call the shotgun approach, right? So this is the production philosophy, right? Trying to find as many as customers with low price product, while distributing your product and communicating your product to each and every customer without doing segmentation, targeting, or modern practices. Right. So this is product concept. So anything you want to add? So who was the pioneering company which first scientifically adopted this philosophy? And marketers generally believe that company was the pioneering company which successfully adopted this philosophy. Yes, one response. Before General Motors, actually General Motors came next.
Was it Ford Motor Company?
Ford, exactly. Ford company. Henry Ford. Right. So this is the ideal example for Ford company offered this T model car. It's a very standardized product, produced in large volumes. Right. All the cars were in black color, same model. Because people wanted to buy a less expensive vehicle, not cars in different colors or designs, right? That was not their problem. Their problem was to how to buy a car, whatever the car. So this is a good example how companies capitalize this mentality during that era, right? Ford company. So now, what do you think about the validity of this philosophy in today's context? Is this still valid, useful, or not? Come to the discussion. Don't be silent. So what's your opinion? Is it still valid to the present context or not valid?
Not made, sir. Because people's like different colors, different features.
Yeah, you mean that mostly this is not valid, no, not relevant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Why?
Because they want to differentiate with others. I mean, if someone is by the one the red color car, the other one wants to buy the another different color.
Okay, good answer. Thank you. And any other opinion? So yes, we all agree that this concept not that much valid to today's context. Why? So answer is in that statement. Why this is not valid today? Oh, come on.
Mentality has changed.
Sorry?
The customer attitude has changed towards mass market.
Customer attitude has changed. Okay, again, that's also correct answer. Why? Why customers have changed?
The shortage context has changed for that
Shortage.
there's more abundance.
There are so there are a lot of many different brands in the market, isn't it? So that's another point. Yes, there are similar brands in the market, right? Lot of brands available in the market. We do not even want to restrict our buying to only local domestic manufacturers. We can buy. Changing customer preferences because of more choices. Yes, customer preferences have changed. There are a lot of brands available, even foreign international brands. Changing technology and competition, right? So can't we put that all in one broad umbrella term? So all these answers are correct. Can't we put now? I ask a simple question: why this philosophy's relevance, right, has come down today? So yes, you have okay, prior consumer preferences have changed. Consumers prefer different styles today to differentiate from others. All these are correct. Can't we put all these answers in under one umbrella term? What has changed?
Is it buying behavior?
Yes, buying behavior. Why? Again, yes. So it's a very good so this is a good principle of Peter Drucker. If you want to ask the root cause, so the Peter Drucker recommends to us why. Yes, why? Okay, why? So usually when we ask why 5 times, we cannot find the root cause. Similarly, I'm asking, yes, consumer buying preferences, behaviors have changed. Why? Modernization. Yes, simply, all these answers are correct. Okay. Simply, the context has changed. It's a broad umbrella right answer. Context has changed. That's why I highlighted. Anything occurs in a context. So why this philosophy flourished during that era? Because the context supported them. People were undergoing a lot of economic problems. They did not have jobs. Right? Large number of companies collapsed after the Second World War. Right? People even did not have basic utilities, electricity. So in that context, this philosophy, emerged and spread. But today, context has changed, right? So you highlighted the characteristic of this changing context. Characteristic of this changing context. Right? Today, people are fluent, even middle class is growing across the globe. China, Russia, the BRICS country, right? Emerging countries, particularly China, middle class is growing. Middle class is growing means the lower class people, they are moving to the middle class with good education, right? They get good occupation, jobs, so they can spend money today. Even middle class parents send their children to international schools today. They have money, right? Middle class people go on for foreign vacations. If you look at the tourists coming from China, in Sri Lanka, Australia, most of these Chinese tourists are middle class people. They go here and there, travel. So today people have money. Even now we are struggling as an economy. Right now this corona pandemic and so on. Now go and look at the one gold fish. How many people are waiting to it? Go to supermarkets.
Port City.
Yes, port cities. So people have money today. So they spend money. So they no longer, right? I'm not generalizing to each and every customer. Generally, right? They are no longer concerned about the price today. The price, importance of the price factor has come down. During the product era, people were mostly price sensitive, price conscious, because they didn't have money. But today, people have money, they have get good employment, jobs, right? So if you now, I don't know whether you are, if you watch a teledrama, actually we telecasted the Yasoravi. I don't know whether you are familiar with that. Yasoravi, actually, there were some teledramas in Sri Lanka. If you go to Google and watch 1 or 2 episodes, so then you can understand the nature of the middle class. Then middle class people, a lot of problems. They didn't have money. When father goes out, he wears that pair of slippers. Then the son cannot go out. He has to wait till father comes. So that was the typical nature of middle class then. But today, middle class quite different. So they are more effort. They have money. There are a lot of job opportunities, foreign investment, foreign companies. Right? So if the context has changed, if the people are no longer price conscious, so what happened to this philosophy? It's gradually become less relevant. So that what has happened to this philosophy. It doesn't mean that this is totally outdated, but relevance, right? The validity mostly has come down, mostly, not 100%, because simply context has changed. Okay. Now think of your mobile phone. Did you buy the low price mobile phone? No. Each and everyone, I think you have a smart mobile phone. Right? I think of your smart TV phone. So that is the present scenario. So this philosophy, this actually was the first scientific thinking, but today it's no longer that much valid. Okay, not 100%. But still, this philosophy is relevant for certain places, under certain conditions. So still this philosophy is used here and there. So can you give some examples? Right? Production philosophy is mostly outdated today, simply the context has changed. But still, that's why I told you this is not totally outdated, right? Mostly. But here and there, you can still see this philosophy is adopted. Where? Serving large number of customers with low quality, low price. Where? These are characteristics. Every day we experience. Examples. Come on. Low quality, low price, serving large number of people. Okay, rice market. Yes, to some extent. What else? So where we experience low quality, maybe right, mostly low price, low quality product or low quality service, large number of people are served, lot of waiting time. Where? Every day we experience these places in Sri Lanka. Think of the health sector. Now tell me. Where we can see this production philosophy is used in the health sector. Perfect competition. Don't try to be more theoretical. Simply, I'm asking, like, every day we experience this production philosophy, like gas. In the healthcare sector, where we experience the simple question.
This is government hospital.
Government hospital.
Government hospitals, yes, it's a very obvious example. Government hospitals, totally they use the production philosophy. Serving large number of patients with low quality, right? What about our public transportation, railway, right? So they also use the production philosophy. Low price, low quality, lot of delays, highly crowded. What about even in the private sector, our channel service of lot of doctors? They do not use marketing. They use this production philosophy, serving many as patients per day. Very right. Sometimes we experience very bad experience. Still, this philosophy is practiced here and there. Particularly, this philosophy is still in the market where the customers are price sensitive. In rural places, maybe in fair, up again Poland, right? If the people are price sensitive, companies or the marketers can use this philosophy. When there is excess quantity output supply, so companies can easily adopt the production philosophy by reducing the price, and they can sell. When there is an excess demand, like in the channel system, hospital, healthcare, so we can still survive with this philosophy without any problem, right? When there's an excess demand. In highly bureaucratic government organizations, the people don't have any other option, so they can use this philosophy. Right? So that's why. So we can't say that this is totally outdated, but mostly outdated. Because the context has changed, but here and there, still this is used. Okay. So that is the first one, and let's move on to the next philosophy emerge, that is the product orientation. So any comments, any questions regarding the production philosophy? No, right. So let's move on. The product orientation. This is the second. Actually, this replaced the first one later on. And this
Yes,
image as the, yes.
So you told me under the mass marketing, mass
Yes.
production, mass distribution, and mass communication.
Yes.
That mass communication, is it valid to the what we discuss about the government hospital and all? I mean, is it comes under the mass marketing?
Yes, mass market means actually generally I'm referring to the private organizations who like to do marketing. But when we take government organizations, for example, universities, certain characteristics are not reflected in their practice because mostly sometimes they are not profit oriented, right? So sometimes we can fully align them with this mass production, serving large number of customers with low price, right? So those things go with mass marketing, but those aspect actually they use production orientation. But when it comes to mass marketing, sometimes they are not profit oriented, right? So certain things are not there. So
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
So we have to be careful in speaking something, but certain aspects, yes. So, so second one, the product orientation. So the marketing thinking shifted from, as I told you, production era to product era. So where the product philosophy started to guide marketing thinking. So when companies came to this era, they are thinking how they assume about the market suddenly change. So what does this concept hold? So please read. The production concept holds that customers will favor products that offer the most in quality, performance, and innovative features. Right? During the product era, how we thought of customers. Customers prefer low price and widely available products, affordable and available products. But now we think, no. Today, customers mostly prefer better products, simply. Not low price products, better products with different features, including innovative features, quality, performance, likewise. So, as a manager or as a manufacturer, now if you think that customers prefer better products, now the approach that you used to enter the market change, right? So during production era, you were running behind, right? Improving the production efficiency using mass production technique, specialization, labor of divisions, so on and so forth. But now you are running behind. How we can improve the product? Not the production efficiency. How you can add new features to the product. So now your thinking is mostly associated with not the production volume. Now you mostly think how you can improve the product. Making continuous product improvements is the management focus. Okay. So now, if you compare these two alternative philosophies that have guided marketing thinking, which one is better? Come, which one is better? Production philosophy or the product philosophy?
With the customer's perspective, it's the product concept, no, sir?
Product concept, yes. Product concept. Uh, but what do you think? Is it the best philosophy that we have ever found, or simply if you write if you do not compare these two, right? Not comparatively. If you take this philosophy as right, separately, uh, do you think that this philosophy is effective?
No, sir.
Useful? No.
No, sir.
Why?
Because there should be balance in the production and product.
Mhm. Ah.
Because with the if we incurred higher production cost and if we do the innovative and if we sell the product in higher cost to the consumer, that may not be correct in marketing point of view.
Yes, very good answer. Yes. So, of course, comparatively, or sometimes you now when you look at continuously improving the product, adding more features, try to innovate, right? So apparently, this seems sound. It's good, right? But the final, if you look at the final outcome of this philosophy, that's the problem. Apparently, at last, this sounds good. But the final end result is more problematic of this philosophy. Right? So why we say so? Because the companies who follow this philosophy tend to end up with a very big tab we call marketing myopia. So I will give you one article to read. Okay, marketing myopia. It's a Latin word, right? The meaning is short-sighted. Marketing myopia means short-sighted market. අපි සිංහලෙන් කියනවා අලුයි කරන අදුරුදර්ශී. Short-sighted. When you write are guided by this philosophy, so we say you fall in love with the product. You fall in love with the product, right? You wake up thinking how you can improve the product. Throughout the day, you try to talk with your engineers how you can improve the product, how we can add more features, assuming that customer admire your effort by adding more and more features. You go to sleep, right, dreaming how you can improve the product furthermore tomorrow. So you fall in love with the product and you forget very important some basic thing. What's that?
Customer requirement.
Customer requirement. That's the problem. You forget the customer need. And you fall in love with the product. So that is what we call the marketing myopia. It's a big problem. You can easily get into that trap. Right? So the thing is that customers don't buy the product. It's a simple, the first lesson that marketers understood, particularly in the fourth philosophy, during the marketing philosophy. Still, they don't know that. So customers do not buy the product. Actually, what do they buy? When we buy, yes, apparently we buy products. But ulterior motive behind purchasing products is buying what? Buying a solution to our problem, our needs. Customers do not buy products, they buy solutions. Solutions. So there are very popular saying in marketing. Customers do not buy a drill. Customers don't buy a drill. they buy the whole solution given by the deal. Right. So in one certain textbooks, I have seen some more like fancy type of statement. Ladies do not buy lipsticks; they buy hopes. Solution. And today marketers have gone beyond that. So they say customers buy certain solutions to get the job done. Get the job done. As marketers, what we sell is, and we help customers to people to get the job done. Get the job done. So solutions. That's why today, not during this year, don't get confused, right? Today, the business, if when you define a business, so we know that the business should be defined as a problem-solving process, not as a manufacturing process. So business is a problem-solving process, right? So business is a value creating, value delivering, value communicating process, not a place there where you produce something. It is outdated. Outdated. That means if you think that way, you get into this, like you end up with marketing myopia. You forget about customer needs. So when you this one. So when you follow or when you're guided by this philosophy, right? So usually from your production process, what are the products come from the production process? Mostly, right? So these are the terms used by marketers. Over technical products, over technical, highly sophisticated products. Oh, marketers also use another term, right? Over engineered products, over engineered, highly sophisticated, mostly expensive, highly technical, over engineered products, which are not the solution sought by your customers. Sought by your customers. Now, so this should be a discussion, okay? Not one-way lecture. Now, some kind of puzzle should come to mind. Then, how a company like companies highlight quality of products. If you take vehicle brand performance, Audi, for example. Now, how you can now you can think how Audi can be a successful marketer, because they always highlight quality performance. They highlight truth in engineering. Truth in engineering. Oh, it's a contradictory, isn't it? So there are certain companies, they have been successful, even like Apple. They have been successful in highlighting their performance features, you know. And on the other hand, we say that this philosophy leads to marketing myopia. Actually reduces our thinking of customer. Right, we tend to be less customer focused. Right. So how you can explain that contradiction? Anyone? How then there are these companies, certain companies have been successful in highlighting product features, performance, etc.
When it comes to the Apple products, what they are improving is what the customers expected. Like quality cameras and likewise the new features, apps and everything, which can be used by customers rather than a burden to the product.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Any other comment? So while we acknowledge that this concept also mostly today outdated, that leads to marketing myopia, right? So we forget the customer requirement. We lose that customer insight, right? Eventually come up with highly sophisticated or engineered products. But some companies actually they have been successful. So we can solve this puzzle.
They are targeting some segment of customers only.
Some
segment of customers.
Some segment of customers. Okay, it's a good point. Yes, that's both answers are actually good answers. Yes. So here the difference between what Audi or some Apple and what we say here is the production concept generally believe, right, customers prefer high quality products. All customers here, right? If you offer high quality product with more features, innovative features, essentially, right, inevitably you will succeed. That is wrong, right? All customers do not think that way. So what Audi has done is they have properly identified target customer. So actually within the customers, there are customers who are quality conscious. They highly think of the product performance. If you target that customers and offer this sort of expensive whatever product, that is not the production philosophy. That is target. That is actually marketing philosophy. But here we generally claim customers prefer high quality products. No, it's a general understanding. So that's the difference, right? So therefore, we should not get confused with what some companies are doing and what we say here. So here they say customers will favor, not the target customers. Okay, here there you can see consumers. Generally, we believe consumers prefer high quality. That mindset is wrong. Okay, so actually this now there's a very popular story behind this, right? Two pillar space. Now you know that Ford company, Henry Ford, the founder of the company, was the first pioneering right company who used production orientation or the mass marketing approach, right? But actually, company was very successful and they offered the T model car at unbelievably low price, right? Actually, I heard that when the people saw their newspaper advertisement, so initially people thought there was a printing mistake. So people was wondering how a vehicle can be offered at such a low price. It was something surprise for the customer, right? So they use this production technique, mass production, to bring the cost down, and they offer the product at unbelievably low price. But actually, that was successful in that context. But later on, after Second World War ended, then you know the United Nations were established, International Monetary Fund, right? Fund was established. Economies were gradually recovering, right? New job opportunities were created, particularly European economies recovered after that. And Ford company was realizing their sales, right, gradually comes down. Their sales gradually comes down. Right? Then, having right noticed that sales drop, actually Ford right contacted their number of regular customers and asked, why you are no longer interested in my T model car? Initially, you admired my effort. offering at that product at low price. So why you are no longer interested? So what was the answer? The majority said, so now we hate your vehicle. Always like you offer same model, same color, black, same T model car. We hate you in that vehicle now. So can't we at least offer cars in different colors? So what was it was very famous reply by right of actually the Henry Ford. So what was the reply? It's very popular in marketing. So he said, okay, no problem. You can buy a car in any color. Yes. You can buy a car in any color. But unfortunately, he added another phrase. Can you guess that? Okay, no problem. You can buy a car in any color as long as that color is black.
Prices will be high.
Sorry?
And same as the prices will be changed.
Yeah, that actually he added that last phrase. Yes. Yeah, you can buy a car in any color as long as that color is black. As long as that color is black. Yes, you can buy a black car vehicle. You can imagine that you drive red car. You can imagine you drive a red car in blue color. But we don't offer you different colors. So we offer you the car at very low price. You need to admire our effort. If you want, you buy wholly. See, there's such a very the great companies like Ford, they made the big mistakes in marketing. So marketing is not a subject, theoretical subject, right? Marketing is a body of knowledge developed, accumulated through the trial and error. The marketers, right, have made large number of errors and they have learned. That's the nature of the market. It's not a conceptual subject. That is like what they have done and what we have learned to do. So that was a very popular reply. That means Ford was not responsive. If you want, you can buy our T model car. We have only black color. You can imagine, you can, right? You drive a car in color, red color, blue color. But we offer only black color car. But later on, as some of you highlighted, General Motors emerged in the scene, and they identified that Ford company was not responding to customer requirements. So General Motors company offered cars in different colors. By tapping into this changing the marketing context. So people have now money. So they no longer they are price sensitive. They want to buy better products. But the philosophy that was understood by marketers in a wrong manner, that was the problem. So there was interest among the people to buy better products. Actually, what they wanted was better solutions, not products. Better solutions. They were willing to pay more price for a better solutions, but the manufacturers understood, they want better products. Better products. So they focus on the product. Right? So this is a good example. This is called marketing myopia. You pay too much attention to the product and forget the customer need. So eventually you get into this step, what we call marketing myopia. So people do not want a better mousetrap. That is what companies thought. Better mousetrap. No. But they want a better solutions to the mouse problem. Right? So during that era, during the production era, there was a very popular engineer. I think he's a US engineer, right? So he said, build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. If you can produce a better mousetrap, people will, even you don't have a right road, people will beat a path to your door and knock on the door to buy your product because your mousetrap is better one, quality, durable. So that was utterly misleading statement. And number of companies actually they produce these sort of mousetrap and they could not sell very few items throughout in the entire year. Because this is wrong. People don't want to buy a better mousetrap. If they have a simple solutions at their home, so they don't want to spend money to very good looking expensive mousetrap. So I think now you can understand, right? Product orientation. So apparently seems to be a better one because we think that company highlight quality features, but the way they understood was wrong. Right? People did not want to better product, better solution, but they did not understand that they were running behind improving the product. So that's why this is also mostly outdated. It does not mean that if you properly identify right target market, right, who want to buy a expensive, maybe high performing product. So of course you can offer that sort of product to them. That is not the production orientation. Actually, that is marketing orientation. So you use a target market. So now is it clear to you or?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you. Because sometimes we sometimes think how some companies be successful with this high quality, high features things. So that is not what we refer here. Okay. So this is a mistake of paying more attention. Okay, now I think it's family. And if I share you a simple video clip. We got copy of this.
Every year, some 30,000 new consumer products are launched, and 90% of them fail. A key reason is what the late Harvard Business School professor Theodore Levitt famously termed marketing myopia, a nearsighted focus on selling products and services rather than seeing the big picture of what consumers really want. As he used to tell his students, people don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill. They want to buy a quarter-inch hole. The railroad lines are a classic case study. They fell into a steep decline because they thought they were in the rail business rather than being providers of transportation. Instead of branching out into cars, trucks, or airplanes, they let other companies steal away their passenger and freight traffic. Or take oil and gas companies. They've belatedly started to think of themselves as energy providers, but they still devote most of their resources to petroleum. If they fail to develop alternative fuels, they risk becoming companies without an industry. Many others have made, and continue to make, the same mistake. Organizations invest so much time, energy, and money in what they currently do that they're blind to the future. They get lulled into thinking they're in a growth industry, rather than continuously capitalizing on growth opportunities. To avoid the same fate, leaders should ask themselves, what business are we really in? They need to understand that the goal isn't to sell things, it's to satisfy customers, and accept the fact that most existing products and services can, and will, be replaced by competitive alternatives. Then they can identify new offerings that meet consumers' needs sooner than any existing or potential competitor. That's the cure for marketing myopia.
Right, so let me share the note again. Okay. So, so how you can get rid of market myopia? Simply defining your business in terms of the product you are currently producing or in terms of the need that you fulfill. How you can get rid of getting into the market myopia, market thinking. Defining your business in terms of the product that you are currently selling, or define a business in terms of the need that you fulfill. A simple question. First one or the second one? Simply what you can do, defining the business in terms of the need. Right? So the railway, their business is not the railway. Their business is in the transport. Film theater or film producer. They should not define their business as a film producer. Actually, they are in the business. What's their business? What's the need?
Entertainment.
Entertainment, yes. So if people do not watch films, if they buy home theater, so you need to understand people buy solutions. So you are not in the right in the industry of movie producing. You are in the industry of entertainment. So that is how these, the dumb row, they are capitalizing this right with broader understanding of need. So this is very important, right? So we should never define our business in terms of product. We have to define the business using the market definition. The market definition is defining the business in terms of the need. Products outdate, need exists forever. There are a lot of products, right? In mobile, the conventional phone, in the ancient time, people use birds, right, to communicate. Today we have email. In the future, there may be telepathy. Who knows, right? But so there are different alternatives come and go. But the telecommunication need is still exist. That is what we need to understand. Right. So moving on to the next, third one, that is selling orientation, or the selling philosophy. So, so marketing thinking shifted from production era to the product era to selling era. Right? So during selling era, selling philosophy was the dominant. So what does mean on the whole? Please read. So it says that if you want to sell more, so there are, when particularly this philosophy, like imagine when the communism was growing in industries, right? And all the companies were offering better products, right? Highlighting their features, quality. So companies were struggling to sell their product or increase the market share. So they were wondering what to do. The solution came with this concept. Yes, if you want to sell more in a competitive market, so use aggressive selling, use aggressive advertising. Right? So other than customers may not buy your brand. So do hard selling, aggressive selling and aggressive promotion. So that was the concept of the philosophy. And actually, with this philosophy, companies spend, right? They increase their advertising budget, right? You can see that companies' advertisements plays everywhere, TV, newspapers. So we experience advertising clutter, too many advertisements everywhere, right, in the environment. So And with that too much using of advertising and selling, even personal selling calls come from companies, right? In that context, actually, some people started to think, and that is obvious, okay? So marketing is selling and advertising. Marketing is selling and advertising because everywhere the general people, laymen, right? So they experience this too much advertising and selling efforts of companies. And people started to think, marketing is yes, nothing other, right, not other than that selling and advertising. But actually, marketing is much more broader than. I think Ronimis, right, has discussed that with you. So marketing, advertising and selling, we use a metaphor. Can you remember that metaphor? Marketing is selling is similar to what? Iceberg. Can you remember the iceberg example? Anyone? Selling and advertising is similar to the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? Tip of the iceberg. Right? 99% of the iceberg is below the water level, invisible to people. And marketing is the entire iceberg, not the tip. Not the tip. Right? So there are very important activities taking place in marketing. So, for example, identifying right customer groups. Right? Not I'm referring to this concept. Okay, this is wrong, but I am referring to the current modern marketing. Right? So, marketing is a much broader concept. It is not only selling and advertising. So, companies identify right target customers to focus on. They come up with the right value proposition, appeal. They come up with a good promise with their brand. That's why you need to think of our brand and buy our brand. Value propositions they design. Then they design right product solution, pricing, distribution channels, communication campaign, all these things are after sales service. So marketing, lot of important things happen below the water level. Professor Kotler used very famous term. He uses the term homework to denote that aspect. Homework, understanding customers, doing research, right? Understanding their requirement, need. Designing the right value proposition to the brand, promise to our target customer, designing right product solution, pricing it correctly. So Professor Kotler uses the term homework. If your homework is really good sound, actually you need not to do selling and advertising less. You need not to sell, people buy. That's the purpose of marketing. Not to sell the product, people want to buy the product. People buy. But the selling concept actually is a very narrow-minded concept. We think that everything we can do anything with selling and advertising. That's not the case. But during some era of marketing history, for some time, actually, companies tried this. But today, actually, we know that that is not the answer. Right? So until now, you know that companies were running behind improving the production efficiency. Later on, they were running behind improving the product quality features. During this era, companies are running behind. Actually, I'm referring to the history, not today. Right? Companies are running behind selling and advertising, assuming these are the secret of success: selling your product. And the selling philosophy actually is based on two assumptions. First assumption is that people usually hesitate to buy products. People usually hesitate to buy products. So that's why you need to compel customers to buy. Otherwise, they are not interested. Right? That's the first one. And actually, that is a wrong assumption. You know, mostly the products that we have purchased, mostly we want to buy. Right? We do not hesitate to buy as long as the product suit me. Right? So you have purchased this smart mobile phone. Did you saw the hesitance? No. 90% or 95% actually we have purchased because we wanted to buy. So the first assumption is also not right reflective of the what customers actually do buy. The second one is the most dangerous assumption of this selling orientation. Second one is, so this this philosophy says what you have to do is somehow sell the product. Somehow sell the product. No matter whether the customers are satisfied or no, somehow sell the product. Convince customers that they want this product. And even they are not happy about your brand, they are not satisfied about your brand, don't worry. After some time, they will forget that and again come to you to buy the brand, buy the product. They will forget their disappointment and they will come again. Therefore, don't worry about customer satisfaction. Only you have to do is sell the product somehow. So this is actually in the today's context, this is no longer valid. Companies can cheat maximum 2 times. Because why? Because there are better alternatives in the market. Better alternatives, better solutions. If the product is not good, we may get caught to this one first time, maximum second time. Third time, we never buy. We go to an alternative. There are competitive brands in the market. So both these assumptions actually not acceptable or not relevant to what we are doing today as customers. That's why this philosophy is also outdated. Assumptions do not match what we are doing today. Now, so I'm asking another question from you. Right? Don't be silent. Now, if you look at companies like Unilever, so they are one of the top, top 10 companies which has the highest advertising budget. So look at TV, right? When you watch the news, before the news, during the news, after the news, you can see several their advertisements were exposed. So they spend huge amount of money on their advertising budget or promotion budget. So my simple question is, so can we conclude that Unilever company is following selling concept or not? What do you think? Come to the discussion. So when you look at what they are doing, so they spend huge amount of budget on promotion, advertising, and other communication campaign. So they spend a lot of money on selling and particularly advertising. So my simple question is, can we conclude that companies using selling orientation or selling pills or not?
They are using selling concept, but not only that.
Not always the selling concept, sir.
Always.
Not always, sir.
Not always. Okay. Yes. Good. Not
According to the two assumptions, one is the somehow selling may not be correct when applying to them because they develop the product based on the requirement of the customer and they change the product accordingly, the customer's perspective.
Right. Yes.
Or it could be rather the high competition. They have to market their product, even though it's.
They have to count with. Yeah, it's another very good point. That's really good. Thank you for all this engagement and comments. I really appreciate that. So actually, my answer. So your answers are mostly correct. Right? If you ask that question from me as an academic, my answer is don't know. I don't know. That is determined by the mindset of the management. So mostly, actually, according to your point, they do not try to somehow sell. They try to adjust the product. Yes. By looking at this, yes, seem to be that they are not selling orientation. That these answers are actually correct. But my argument is okay. This may be not selling, but still I don't know because that depends on what management think. Their thinking pattern. If the management of Unilever company assumes or have the viewpoint that they can sell their product by selling an advertising campaign, that's why they spend money. If they think that they can do anything with advertising selling, of course they are using selling orientation. That's their mindset. But as one of you said, there's a growing competition. There are competitors, even domestic companies, Hemas, their competitors also use heavy advertising budget to face the competition, right? They want to let people to hear about our brand, right? Reminding our brand in a highly competitive environment. While making good product, while offering right product to the customers. So managers think actually we have to let people know. We have to use advertisement, communication campaign. The competition is high, but managers do not think that advertising can do it. They of course they believe to offer right product to the customer. If that is their mindset, I don't know. That's why I said I don't know. If that is the mindset of the managers, surely they do not use selling orientation. That depends. So by observing what the company is doing, we can't conclude that. The most important thing is the manager's mindset. What do they think of selling and advertising? Right. So anyway, so selling orientation actually, but before moving on to the next, before the break, sorry. So I'm asking another simple. So this is mostly outdated, yes, of course. Assumptions are wrong, right? But still, this philosophy is used like production philosophy under certain conditions, circumstances. Still, can you give some examples? So under what circumstances this philosophy is still used? When we use this philosophy? Still?
In political campaigns?
Yes, very good. In political campaigns, of course. In the world politics, not only in Sri Lanka, across the globe, even in Australia, right? Political parties use selling orientation, to sell their candidates, to sell their manifesto. They don't they don't ask any question from people when they develop their manifesto. Their policymakers, they prepare and then they say. So world politics, very good. All the political parties in the world, they use selling orientation. Second, some products actually there's some product category which actually we don't want to buy. We are not interested. That category is called, if I give some example, life insurance policies, encyclopedia, coffee, maybe some foreign language courses freely available in our universities. The students never follow. Japanese, sometimes Japanese, maybe Japanese language, other language, but a lot of students go to English unit to learn English. But other language courses, no students, no interest. Why? So this category is called unsold goods, right? Unsold. Mostly we are not interested. Right, so this dictionary we want to buy, but encyclopedia unsold. We are not interested. Certain political ideologies, even in Sri Lanka, certain political concepts, majority people read it. Right? Not only in Sri Lanka, in other countries as well. Certain things actually we are not interested. Maybe certain vaccines, right? Even this third, right? Where one is still some people are not interested. So this product category is called unsold goods, even life insurance, right? So still this selling orientation is valid use for this unsold goods, because that's obvious, because we are not interested. So therefore we have to sell. That's why life insurance companies, they use aggressive selling efforts, because majority of people are not interested in buying a life insurance, but they go for a vehicle insurance, but not life insurance. So second one is this is still valid for unsold goods. Right? Thirdly, fundraising campaign. All the fundraising campaign use selling pills. They sell things to get raise funds. Now that university students, like some from time to time they come to our rooms and they sell bookmarks. So we never read a book, but we buy bookmark because we know that it's a joke, right? We read books, but even I don't read a book, I buy that bookmark because I know that it's fundraising campaign, right? Car service. Sometimes they sell car cleaning tickets. Right? Even I got the service last week. I buy that ticket because I know this is a fundraising campaign, so it's my duty to buy this. So in these three areas, world politics, second unsold goods, and thirdly fundraising campaigns, mostly use this philosophy stick. Okay. So with that, I think it's time to have a break. What's the break time you want to have? 30 minutes, or what about 20 minutes or 50? Hello?
20 minutes, okay, sir.
20. Right? Yeah. Okay, let's have a 20 minutes break. Then we meet again around, now time is 10:05, 10:25. Right. Right. So we were talking about selling philosophy. Now we can move on to the next one. That is, of course, the marketing orientation, marketing philosophy. So actually, if you look at the marketing orientation, right, and this was this emerged during 1950s. Okay, 1950s, and this is usually believed. There's general understanding, right, among marketers that this is a very important turning point of marketing thinking. Right? This is a very important turning point. Actually, a modern marketing, this is the origin of the modern marketing thinking. Right? So, okay, first, please read the philosophy. What does hold? It says message. Please read. Right. The marketing philosophy holds that achieving organizational goals depends on knowing the needs and wants of target markets and delivering the desired satisfaction better than competitors do. So, I told you this is turning point of marketing thinking. Actually, starting point of the modern marketing thinking. Can anyone highlight why this is a turning point? This envisaged the modern thinking of marketing. Anyone? Why this is a turning point of marketing?
It gives more emphasis on the customer's needs and want.
Yes, this is yes. For the very first time, a marketer's attention was drawn to the very customer problem. Yes, that's why this is a turning point. Right now, if you compare this one before the previous three philosophies, production, we were running behind production efficiency. During the product era, we were running behind product improvements, improving product. Selling era, right? We thought success depends on whether we can use aggressive selling and advertising. But with this marketing orientation, for the very first time, the marketers realized no, success is not related with whether you focus on the production volume, product itself, or selling. So we need to focus on what customer really want to have. What's their problem? They try to get something done, get the job done. So as marketers, we need to focus on their problem. Our job is not to sell a product. Our job is to deliver a solution to get the job done. Their problem. This is the turning point, right? Focusing on the customer need. It's a very big, it's a big leap of marketing thinking. Right? And actually, with this philosophy, right, the companies focused on the production efficiency, product improvement, or selling. But hereafter, companies focus on market. Companies started to be market-centered, right? So this philosophy highlight, if you want to succeed in a competitive market, you need to fulfill needs and wants of your target customers. How? Better than your competitors. Better than your competitors. So market centeredness has two. That's a combination of two. I guess right, Ronin has discussed this maybe. So market centered or market orientation or the market centered thinking consists of two things. It's a combination of the two things. Can anyone remember it? Market centeredness is combination of two. First, customer orientation. Now I think you can guess the second one. Customer centered, and second one, you have to satisfy your customers better than competitors. So customer centered and
Competitor centered.
Competitor centered. Yes, that's the combination of the customer centered and competitor centered thinking is the market centered, market orientation. So customer centered thinking is not enough to compete in the market. Right? That's why marketers, if we like take a simple formula of success. So today marketers claim that what you offer to the market should be customer tailored plus competitive enough. Competitive enough. Customer tailoredness is not enough. That is one part of the story. You need to focus on the target customer's need. But you have to offer something better, something faster, something cheaper, whatever. You need to convince that your solution is better than your competitors. Right? So your market offer should be customer tailored plus competitive enough. That is what we call market centered. Right? So companies gradually tend to become market centered with these, adopting the marketing philosophy. So this philosophy is based on 4 pillars. First, again, this is another deviation from the previous thinking. Right until this philosophy, companies were trying to, serve each and every customer. Usually, until the selling orientation, the mass marketing was the dominant approach, right? Mass marketing. But with the marketing philosophy, companies were informed, guided, right? Saying that don't try to satisfy each and every customer. It's not possible. One single company can't satisfy each and every customer. Right? Even companies like Toyota cannot satisfy all the consumers in the market. It's simply impossible. So therefore, try to identify the right prospects, right? Right customer groups that you can focus more, right? Because you can better satisfy them. Right? You have the experience to satisfy them. You have the resources to satisfy them. You may have the nature of employees that can appeal to this type of customers. Perhaps you have the technology that can better serve this particular customer group. So by identifying certain customer that enables you to satisfy them better, rather than offering one product to each and every customer. It's not possible. And also, right, by serving target customers, you can be more profitable than the previous mass marketing stuff like that. So therefore, the marketing concept the first pillar is identifying and serving target markets. This is another very important, turning. The most important turning point is while you identify better customer groups, so focused on their need. You need to thoroughly understand their need. You need to do research. You need to do qualitative, quantitative, mixed, new research methods like meta-analysis, right? Ethnography. Today we have the ethnography, online research. So try to understand why customers buy, when customers buy, where customers buy, right? How customers buy. Now, when you come to understanding consumer, you can think of several O's: objects, what customers buy; objective, why customers buy; occasions, when customers buy; outlets, where customers buy; organization, how customers buy; how the decisions are made at home; operations, how customers make the purchase. Likewise. And don't always go with what they say, stated needs. Try to identify real need. Sometimes when you ask a question, what type of vehicle would you like to buy? The majority say, I would like to buy an inexpensive vehicle. Inexpensive. 90%, you come to know from the research that 90% customers have given their preference to an inexpensive vehicle, particularly, for example, during this era, the period. COVID issue, again, a lot of economic problems. So, but what does it mean by inexpensive? That's the problem. Sometimes you get wrong. Inexpensive vehicle has at least two meanings. First, the initial cost is low. So is that what customers meant? Or whether maintenance cost of the vehicle is low. So what's the real need? So they just simply say, yes, I would like to buy an inexpensive vehicle, car. But what's the real need? This could be a very tricky decision, right? To understand. Sometimes they don't say certain things, but they expect what we call unstated needs. If I take an example now, when I buy a very expensive vehicle, right? If I buy a very expensive vehicle, I assume I will get a really good customer service, but I never say to the automobile company. I assume that I am spending millions of money. So I think that I will receive a really wonderful customer service. Unstated needs are there. So we have to uncover these things when you do research. That's why companies today, they deviate from conventional research like survey. They go to different approaches. They use ethnography. Ethnography is a social science research, but today increasingly marketers they live with customers. They observe what customers really do. They don't simply ask customers. Right? Today cutting edge technology use, now we can analyze our brain function. Right? Neuroscience. How customers think. Right? So recently we came to know that mostly we think in terms of images, not words. But when we try to explain that thinking using words, we can't fully explain because language has limitations. Now, if I asked you, can you describe your most romantic day to me? Your most romantic day to me. Now you think to describe that to me. Now you think, when you think whether you think in terms of the images or words. Your most romantic day comes to your mind in terms of imageries or the words. Images. Now, but when you try to describe that to me, you struggle because words, language cannot fully describe these things. That's why some, the religious, for example, even Buddhism, right? That's why sometimes certain things they say that cannot explain using the word language. So Some researchers actually recently developed kind of methods like meta-analysis. Meta-analysis. So they are we ask our people to, okay, we give you 1 week, right? This is the topic that we are going to discuss with you. So we give you 1 week. So collect as many as pictures, photos, even you can draw, use your own drawings. So to like talk with us, collect pictures, photos. So we give 1 week. So after 1 week, we ask them to explain these pictures and photos. They can better explain what they think in terms of these pictures, photos. Likewise, now this research, neuroscience, all these things are now increasing, and we can better predict customer behaviors. Right? So marketing is increasingly becoming a science, data science, right? Likewise. So anyway, we need to understand customer need, right? Then focus on customer need, identifying target markets, and when try to satisfy better than competitors, right? We need to have a kind of coordinated marketing. Coordinated marketing. Right? Simply, you should never think that the marketing department alone cannot do the job. It's a totally wrong understanding, practice. Right? To satisfy customer, there should be a company-wide effort. Company-wide effort. Right? For example, now if you are a marketing manager of a restaurant, right? you want to give a daily friendly service to your customers when you are present. But if your HRM people, HRM manager recruit very rude people, even they can't smile with customers. So how you as a marketer, how you can offer a friendly service to your customers? Because HRM department just their own job. They go there right from without understanding marketing. So you would like to give like really good meal to your customers, very fresh, nutritious, delicious meal to your customers. But the people who are doing procurement always buy low quality, less price stuff, vegetables, fish. So how you can do that? How you can give a good meal to your customers if the people doing procurement don't want to do so? So that's why we need to have a company-wide difference. Every department, every layer of the managers, even frontline people, even the cleaning people should know how their job affect customer satisfaction. The cleaning people, actually, they are not just doing cleaning. Now, for example, if you take university cleaning people, so their job is not cleaning. Their job is making the university environment more conducive for teaching and learning. They are doing a very important role. That's why sometimes, like our students, actually, they are really good. Our students, right, from time to time, they appreciate these cleaning people. Well, they organize some events, they give gifts to these people, they sing, right, for them. Before this COVID pandemic, actually, like every year, we have that sort of things. The students organize these things to appreciate this cleaning people's work. Their job is not simply clean. They should know how they work. Actually, they should be informed that you are doing really important job. Do that job that affect our lecturers, students, teaching and learning environment. The person who answers the call, telephone operator, should know the voice, tempo, how that affect the customer satisfaction. The people who do billing, if they send the wrong bill, how that can affect the customer satisfaction negatively. That is what we call everywhere customer-centered thinking should prevail. Coordinated marketing. That's why actually Peter Drucker right? So there are very important saying in marketing. We always use these quotes to highlight the point. So Peter Drucker once said, if you want to bring right real marketing to your business, right? If you want to bring real marketing to your business, true marketing, genuine marketing to your business, never establish a marketing department in your business. Okay, so ඔයාට ඇත්තටම මාකටිං ගෙන්න ගන්න ඕන නම් ඔයාගේ බිස්නස් එකට දෙයියන්ගේ නාමයට මාකටිං ඩිපාර්ට්මන්ට් එකක් නම් හදන්න එපා. Please don't establish a separate department for marketing if you want to bring real marketing to your business. So these are very powerful saying statements. So can anyone highlight what's the implied meaning of that concept, the statement? So please come to the discussion. Okay, don't. One way lecture is very boring. I also enjoy your engagement. What is the implied meaning of Peter Drucker? Don't establish a separate department for marketing. Why did he say so? Come, yes. I prefer if you can have voice. HD have to concern about customers. Yeah, okay. Yes, that's correct. So I specifically asked not to establish a marketing department, but a department for marketing. Any other comment? Any other opinion? I'm asking the implied meaning of that statement. Yes, marketing is a responsibility of the entire organization. Good. If we further extend this answer to this question, so yes, some companies actually, after establishing a marketing department, what they do? That's a problem. Yes. So what? Yes. Okay. What do they do? Giving the total responsibility of satisfying customer to the marketing people. That's a problem. So when we establish a marketing department, the managers think customers should be satisfied by marketing people. That's why Peter Drucker, the implied meaning is, if you establish a department for marketing, you mostly think that satisfying customers should be done by these people. That's wrong. So the Peter Drucker doesn't say that you should not establish a marketing department. The implied meaning is, when you establish a marketing department, you give the full responsibility of satisfying customers to the marketing department. That is wrong. It should be company-wide effort. First, all right. Customer-centered thinking, customer-centered culture, customer-centered talking, customer-centered walking, customer-centered attitude. That is what we need. Today, what we need is not a marketing department. What is necessary is a marketing company. Marketing company. That's why, like some say that even other departments, my managers should be part-time marketers. The HRM people should know the importance of customers when they recruit people. The finance people at least have some kind of knowledge of marketing. Part-time marketers. Otherwise, we can't do this coordinated marketing. Right. Final requirement of the pillar is profitability. So this is another thing that marketing concept highlight. So they say that if you want, right now, when you satisfy a particular target customer need, so think carefully whether you can earn a profit. Otherwise, you can't sustain. Right. So that is fair enough, because without sustaining, you are no point of satisfying customers if you can't sustain as a company. So profitability. Actually, profitability, so we can discuss marketing even this topic for even 1 year, right? We don't have time. That's a problem. So, but when it comes to profitability, actually profitability simply means you should earn profits, right? So that's simple meaning. Otherwise, you can't survive. If you can't earn profit, no point in satisfying customer or target customer need. That's obvious. But actually, right, this has another meaning. Right, I think you can, simple meaning is right, straightforward, you can easily understand. The second meaning is actually, it implied meaning is that it's similar to the coordinating market. So we said that now even other managers, HRM people, finance people, at least they should be part-time marketers. They should understand the importance of customer. Right? Similarly, marketing people should have some skill to assess the profitability. They should have some financial skills. Right? For marketing people, apparently, right, everything seems to be a good opportunity. So marketing people, this seems to be good, that seems to be good. But before you make the investment, before you decide to embark on that, so be careful. So analyze, right, carefully the profitability. You should have kind of financial skill. Profitability. At least you need to discuss with financial experts. So it says that always you are wearing marketing hat. Marketing people. You always wear a marketing hat, but when necessary, please keep the marketing hat away and wear the financial hat. Then you can see whether this is financially feasible or not. When you decide to satisfy, for example, a particular customer group. Right? Don't use your ad hoc decisions, profitability. And there's a nice story. That's why I don't know whether we can time. Okay, anyway. Right? One time is a very popular story in marketing. One American company actually they wanted to sell is a footwear company. They wanted to sell their zippers, footwear products to Asian Pacific Island. Right, Asian Pacific Island. The marketing manager decided came that idea to his mind. So can't we sell our product to this particular island, Asian Pacific Island? And with that idea, actually, he first sent an executive, an account executive to that island. You go and see whether we can do something there, whether we can sell our footwear products in that island. Actually, it was very, very poor, right? The poor people living there. It's a tribal kind of people. He spent there around 1 weekend. There was a reply, sir, these people do not wear zippers. No market. These people do not wear zippers. So we should stop our project. No way. Because account executive, they don't have any marketing flavor. So what they say is these people do not wear zippers, so no market. But second time, marketing manager actually convinced by that reply. He sent one of their best salesmen to that island, right? And he spent there again 1 week, and there was a reply. Yes, sir, these people still do not wear zippers. There's a wonderful market opportunity. These people still do not wear zippers. See, so we can sell zippers for this. So, as you guess, selling people, you always, they are wearing marketing kit. They say, oh, my God, we can sell this request to these people. But they can't understand whether these people don't have money, what are the things, adaptation we need to do to our product. Those things do not come to their mind. They say, oh, we can sell the product. Marketing had told me. And marketing manager was still not convinced. Right? And the third time he sent us the deputy marketing head manager. So better you go there and spend around 1 month and let's see whether we can do something there. So the deputy marketing manager went there and spent around 1.5 months. And there was a very detailed report from the deputy manager. So his report consisted of the key points. Actually, these people do not wear slippers, but they get benefits from wearing slippers. So there's a need for these people. There's a need. But they don't understand it. So we need to educate these people, benefits of wearing slippers. So I discussed with the tribal leader and he is willing to help us to do so. But in the meantime, we need to change our design because these people have smaller foot, right? So our slippers right, could be large for these people. So we need to redesign the slippers. But there's another big problem. So these people do not have money. But I investigated the situation, and actually these people are the people who grow the best pineapples in the world. So we can go to a kind of barter system methodology, and we can sell these things, and we are the manufacturer cost of that project. And these are the expected revenue from the first year, second year, third year. From the third year onwards, this could be a profitable project to the company. So we need to go ahead. That is what we call ability to, like, that skill to come up with good plan to earn profit. We can obtain profitability. So marketers have to have two skills. First, market relating skill, identifying whether there's an opportunity. The marketing people have that, right? Always. They are wearing a marketing hat. But the second skill is market relating skill. Sorry, market sensing skill, the first one. Right? Market sensing skill, ability to identify emerging opportunities. Second, market relating skill. Right? Identifying an opportunity is not enough, As a marketer, you need to come up with a good plan to earn profits. You should be able to formulate a good strategy to earn profit. You should be able to relate that opportunity with your profit, company profit. So anyway, all these things highlight the profitability. So these are the 4 pillars: target market, customer need, customer coordinated marketing is essential, and think of the profitability when you make decisions. Right. So any question, any clarifications? Anything you want to ask now? No? Nothing. Okay. Then hope things are clear to you.
Okay, so go ahead.
Right. Yes. And moving on. Okay. Now, as I told you, right, this is the turning point of market. Actually, this is the origin of the modern commercial market. Right. With this philosophy, companies started, earning profits. Right. So with this philosophy, customers, they receive good products, really good solution to their problems. customer tailored products, right, came to the markets. Today we buy like actually good solutions due to the marketing philosophy. So commercially wise, so listen carefully, in terms of the commercial aspect, I mean the profit wise, this is the best philosophy that we ever found in the marketing history, marketing philosophy, the best in terms of the profit wise. But look at this question. So what's your opinion? Does the marketing philosophy overlook possible conflicts between consumer short-run wants and consumer long-run welfare? What do you think? Yes or no? Come on. What do you think? Yes or no? Tobacco company? Think of McDonald's, KFC. Answer is yes or no? Don't be silent. So that's very boring. You know, even I'm also get bored if you are silent.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, good. So my answer is sometimes, yes. Not every company, yes. Yes. Sometimes, yes. There are examples like this fast food industry, tobacco industry, you know. Yes, this could happen because marketing philosophy for like only highlights the profitability, not they ask business people to think of the society or the environment. Similarly, what about this? Sorry. Yes, good answer. Okay. Yes, by the way of concern of long term, yes. Okay, so what about this question? Is a firm that satisfies the immediate needs and wants of target market like tobacco products, fast food industry, always doing what is best for consumers in the long run? Answer is always. No, not always. There are a lot of examples. Short term, customers are really happy, they get really good products. But in the long term, they can harm their health. Sometimes in the short run, customers are really happy, customers get the satisfaction expected, but long term, these products harm them. Like these perfumes, disposable products, you know. Sometimes short run, we are happy, customers really enjoy the product, but in long term wise, actually not ethical to the environment, so that to the society. For example, X-rated films, drugs, weapons, you know. So there's an issue with this marketing. There's an issue with this marketing. Commercially, that sounds good, but it doesn't pay enough attention to the long-term well-being of consumers and the society, even the environment. That's the problem. So due to this too much profit-oriented business practices, even in Sri Lanka, we are experiencing this rice market, rice industry, gas industry, gas industry actually oligopoly, 2 companies manipulate the entire industry. Even the rice industry is also oligopoly, few players, they can work as a monopoly. Right? So that's the problem with oligopoly. Right? So there are highly unethical profit earning mispractices of companies. So due to this too much profit oriented business practices, marketing often receive critics from general people, from scholars, the media. So there are a lot of criticisms about marketing, particularly this too much profit-oriented business practices. So all these criticisms can be categorized under 3, right? For example, the negative impacts, the business practices which have negative impact on individual consumers. Bad business practices which have a negative impact on the society as a whole. And bad business practices that harm other business organizations. Right now, for example, very briefly, if you look at the first category, negative impact on individual consumers, marketing practices, high prices. Due to marketing, we have to pay high prices. They are used aggressive advertising, huge communication budget. Eventually, we have to pay as consumers. They add these expenses to the price. And they add these distribution expenses to the price eventually, right? And sometimes these companies use excessive markups. Like, for example, in some supermarkets, their profit margin is 100%. Markups, very, very high profit margins. So one criticism is that due to marketing, we have to pay more. Sometimes this distribution, right, highly sophisticated distribution, duplicate work, this vegetable, what happens to vegetable? They are grown in Nuerelia, up countries, right? Transport to Colombo, then rearrange, and again, right, send back to Nuerelia to sell, for example. 30% waste. All these are covered, right, captured in the price. So that is one common critics. Due to marketing, we unnecessarily pay more price. High markup. Right? But actually, in countries like Australia, actually these high markups in countries like Sri Lanka is actually not reasonable. They are not giving good service to customers in Sri Lanka. But now in Australia, actually, I have experienced this, right? In Australia supermarkets, their profit margin is close to 100%. It's still same, very high. Yes, advertisement we got as a different, yes, this mispractices. So, right, in Australia, actually, now, if I want, right, they have a very good return privileges to customers. Now if I buy a product and if it is I'm not happy about that product, even without the bill, if I go to the supermarket, maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, just I say that I'm not happy, I want to return this one. And they ask whether you have the bill. I said, not just I lost that. They never ask any other question. They accept. And they pay the money. Sometimes it's surprising, like without asking any question, they return the product. Sorry, they pay back money. So that sort of things, but within due to that policy, there are some manipulative customers. mostly Asian customers. They can manipulate and they use the product actually and they return. But these losses are covered in the price. That's why they charge maybe 100% close to 100% profit margin. Those things are covered in that price. This good return privileges. Sometimes people manipulate these things. All these things are covered in that price. Anyway, right? First point. Second, deceptive practices. So a lot of like misleading practices as like this promoting as a good product, but actually causing cancer, right? So deceptive practices can vary from research. When we do research, actually we may like violate ethics companies, right? By companies. Then when we come to segmentation, targeting, personing, there are deceptive practices. We target sometimes kids. Tobacco products are targeted to kids. Adults only things are targeted to kids. Certain products are targeted to vulnerable customers. Deceptive practices. When it comes to product decisions, some companies they offer very low quality products. Sometimes very unsafe products. They don't have time to test due to the competitive pressure. Sometimes they use animals highly unethically do testing. Right. Product. Then packaging. You know that good example is TPT. It looks like there's a lot of stuff inside, but actually relatively not that much. Right? Subtle designing, misleading customers. Right? Downsizing without informing customers. They reduce the package size without informing the customer. That is also highly unethical. Deceptive practices. Deceptive pricing. Insurance industry is very, notorious about complicated pricing purposefully. So when they explain different policies, we get lost. What these guys are really talking. It's highly complicated pricing schemes, right? Misleading pricing. Sometimes they give psychological discounts. 2,500 price, they put 3,500, they put cost 3,500 and 2,500. Actually, the price is 2,500, but they write 3,500 and they cost. So we think 3,500 worth product is offered at 2,500. No, actually the price is 2,500. So they give psychological discount, manipulative pricing. The loss leader pricing. So they promote, okay, there's right smart TV, 300 lakhs worth TV now, right? Hurry up, come to our shops. So it is offered at you 150,000 rupees, 50%. So they advertise, come soon to our shop and buy. Actually, what they are doing, they sell around maybe 10 or 20 TVs. But still they advertise, come soon and you can buy this TV 3,000 worth, 300,000 worth, 150,000. So when we go to the shop, they say, sorry sir, sold out. But the people at the shops, they are very smart people. So they know how to convince we to buy more expensive TV and we leave the shop. So we go there to buy 150,000 TV, we leave the shop after buying 450,000 worth TV. See, these are the very deceptive practices. But when they go to the shop, they say sold out, sorry sir, sold out. But still, when you write what the TV, they still continue advertisement. Come soon to our shop, you can buy the TV. Deceptive practices. Right? Then high pressure selling. you know that miscellaneous, unprofessional sales calls, people like try to convince people even this product is not that much important to customer. Too many calls, unprofessional calls, emails from companies, messages from companies, right? We are in a very important meeting. Sometimes we get call from sometimes from the company. They ask me to go to that tune, you know. So high pressure selling. Then companies also offer shoddy, harmful, and unsafe products to customers. They don't have time to test these things. Now, when we buy products from eBay, it appears that it is quality large, but when we get the product, usually the real product is not that they display. Right. Then marketers also to earn profits, they also use planned obsolescence. That means purposefully they make the product obsoleted, right? The sooner than what we usually expect to use. They purposefully do that. As an example, now when I buy a smart mobile phone, so I simply assume that I should be able to use that for 3 years. 3 years. That's my expectation. I can use that mobile phone for 3 years. But sometimes companies insert some low quality stuff to the mobile phone. After 2 years, we can't use that. Planned obsolescence. Right? Sometimes touch screen is not properly working. It's planned by the company. So though we expect to use that right for 3 years, after 2 years, we have to throw that in and go to a new version. Certain low quality materials are inserted in the device. Sometimes it is purposefully do with the product design. I mean, including some parts. Right after that, we can't use that. We have to throw that product. And sometimes psychological obsolescence is made. You know that still this mobile phone is functioning proper. The mobile phone that I am currently using. Right now, I have it's 2 years, around 2 years, right, from the time that I have purchased. Still, it is functioning, usable, but companies introduce new versions, highlighting the older one is outdated. For example, Apple. From time to time, they release the new version, and particularly, I have seen that in Australia, the younger people, they are crazy. That they go to early in the morning to the shop and to wait to buy the next version. Still, the current version is properly working. After 1 year time, they release new version. It's psychological obsolescence. Make the product outdated psychologically. It's planned obsolescence. Right? Then another mispractice, profit-oriented mispractice on consumers is companies ignore poor, disadvantaged customers, low-income earning customers. When you go to rural villages, you can't find good supermarkets. Right? Because these people don't have money. The marketers do not serve these people because they can't simply earn profits. There's a very popular practice called red line. So when they take a map pen, they put a red line and highlight in certain areas. What does it mean? Okay, within that area, inside the red line, a circle, we do not serve these consumers. They are less income, maybe kind of පැල්පත් වගේ දේවල් ඒ වගේ පැත්තක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Likewise, So they decide not to serve these consumers simply because they can't earn profits. Okay, so that is another. So these are too much profit-oriented business practices that have negative impact on individual consumers. Okay. Second, too much profit-oriented business practices also lead to negative impacts on society as a whole. So business organizations, they engage in, to earn profit, they create false wants and encouraging materialism among the people. We'll take one by one very quickly. Second, they also oversell private goods at the expense of public social goods. And thirdly, creating a kind of cultural pollution by the business people in the society. First one, actually marketers create unnecessary wants in the mind of people, false wants. So even if you take this smart mobile phone, how many features we never use? Sometimes they highlight these features. You get this one, that one. You can use your hand to, right? You can use your voice to give the command, a lot of things, but how many people will use these facilities? Are they really real wants or false wants? It's a problem. A lot of stuff today we buy, actually we don't want to buy, but marketers promote, encourage, convince us to buy. Maybe after 2 or 3 days, we never use. That's why one side, when we promote sustainable marketing, one side we need to pressurize business people to change. In the meantime, as consumers, we have to change. That's why, today we need to have mindful consumption, right? Thinking twice before we purchase. Actually, if you look at new millennium customers, they bring new values. Sometimes we blame these new people, but certain things actually they are good. If you look at new millennium customers, so they sometimes they they bring these values like sharing rather than buying, right? So they would like to share the thing. They would like to rent rather than purchasing, right? So as consumers, we have to think these things. Mindful consumption, down-to-earth consumption, down-to-earth living, such things. Anyway, but marketers actually they market unnecessary things to customers. That's one problem in the society. We spend a lot of money on unnecessary things. Otherwise, we can use this money on better. And also, the marketing, this promote this materialistic culture. In the materialistic culture, we get the happiness around the products or the things we have. That is totally against, our traditions, Buddhism, Hinduism, It's quite interesting thing to research even. How we become more and more materialistic, right? In the midst of marketing activities. So our happiness is around the things we have. Actually, happiness is not related to the environment. It is inner thing. But we always relate our happiness to the things that we have. Otherwise, we are not happy. Not only that, people are judged by others, not who they are, the value of the person. But the person is judged by what the person has, the vehicle, type of vehicle, the type of the house, the clothes. We never look at the good quality values of the person. We look at the vehicle. The characteristic of materialistic culture. Now, I think you can remember one advertisement, right? Used by one lottery, right, organization in Sri Lanka. So in that advertisement, that person in that advertisement, actually that person can't sleep. Every time he tries to sleep, right, he dreams of materialistic things. He's dreaming of building a new house. He's dreaming of buying a vehicle. He suddenly wakes up. Again, he tries to sleep. Again, something comes to mind and wakes up. So then he is recommended to go and buy lottery. See, that is a good, mirror to understand the materialistic things that marketers promote. And also marketers, they highlight miracles. Actually, products can't do those things, but the highlight is our product can do that. Any example come to your mind? Products promote miracles, they can do. Actually, they can't do that. Example. Any energy drink comes to your mind? Come on. Miracles are promoted by companies with their product. For example, yes, Red Bull. Yes, Red Bull. You can fly. The person gets into the bus. No one is looking at him. So he takes a kind of maybe toffee. Right? After having the toffee, everybody look at the person. So, that can happen? Miracles. So these are really very bad to the societies, materialistic things. And secondly, this overselling private goods at the expense of public. So private companies, actually, they never spend on public transport, public goods, infrastructure. But unfortunately, they expect that high quality infrastructure from the government or the public expenses. But they never spend even ₹1 on improving these things. At least they do not pay. I'm not different to all the business, but at least they do not pay tax. See the difference of Japan and Sri Lanka, right? Difference now. If you have visited Japan, you can see that their road system, infrastructure, super quality, but vehicles, normal vehicles. Most of the vehicles are not that much expensive in Japan. Majority of people use normal vehicles. But now come to Sri Lanka and see highly expensive vehicles, even they are not visible in Japan. But see the road system, very poor, less quality, cannot drive. What is no? Our business sector does not support these things. They only right now think of the profit. But sometimes they establish their hotels close to the coast. See, they harm the public goods without doing any good thing to the public goods. Sometimes their hotel is located in a forest. Actually, they incur a social cost, but never contribute to improve these things. It's very pathetic, right? That you can easily understand the vehicle and the road system of Sri Lanka, the difference. Right. So, thirdly, creating cultural pollution. Right. So we marketers spend unethical values, unhealthy values, Western values. You know, in Sri Lanka, all the media, like they promote Indian values in Sri Lanka. A lot of this Indian drama. So people, you know, they think, this is the ideal right value system in the world. Right. This is cultural pollution. So yes, we live in a global village, but it doesn't mean that these things can happen. Right? So anyway, then finally, too much profit-oriented businesses can also harm their other business organizations, other businesses. Sometimes business try to unethically acquire a competitor. That could be a disaster to the entire industry, right? Acquisition of competitors. In the banking industry, if one bank right acquires another bank, so that can be a very negative impact to the entire industry. Eventually, customers right worse off, tend to worse off. Right. Sometimes by acquiring another competitor, other company can be a kind of monopoly, controlling the entire industry. Second, marketing practices that create barriers to it is big large companies. They artificially create barriers for small and newcomers to come to the industry. Sometimes they have the patent and they do not allow others to come to the industry. Sometimes they maintain very low prices because being a large company, they enjoy economies of scale. So they when a new company come to the industry, they brings the price at a very low, so other companies cannot come. Even they can't even cover the cost. Barriers. Sometimes they have the lobby, government support, and artificially create new companies come to the industry. Similarly, unfair competitive marketing practices like this, things. Sometimes they pressurize the supermarket. Don't market my competitor one. If you market my competitor banks, I will not do my product. I'm the dominant company, so don't do that. I will not give my product to you if you sell my competitor product. Sometimes channel loading. So I pressurize my distributor to buy too much from me. Actually, it's not that much necessary for the intermediaries, but I pressurize. Okay, if you don't buy this amount, I will never give you. Unfair. Computer and sometimes spreading rumors on social media about bad things about the competitors. So these things. So that happened right now. If I remember one incident, and you know that One of our students, actually there was an accident, right, during student activity, that this tire incident. I think you can remember, right? Now he's mostly recovered and he's also attending lectures now. Anyway, so that incident, and some private universities actually they capitalized it. They without understand what really happened in that incident, and they purposefully use social media campaign. They tarnish tie black mark to the university, particularly our faculty. So these things can happen. Unfair marketing practices. Okay. So, right. So due to these things, now businesses engage in too much profit-oriented business practices that harm the individual consumer, society as a whole, plus even other. They are business organizations. So due to these increasing negative practices, now we need citizen and public actions, right? Citizen and public actions to promote sustainable marketing. So to face these negative aspects of business companies, today as individuals, as citizens, as public means here the government actions. So the public represents the government now. So actions usually are necessary to control these bad practices. So one aspect of this citizen and public action is we call consumerism, right? Consumerism. That means consumerism is there's a worldwide movement, right, among the consumers to get organized, right? Get organized, get together, and to increase their power against companies, particularly these mispractices of companies. So that is a really very important movement in the world. Consumers. Actually, in Sri Lanka, this is not that much strong or prevailing. But in other countries like Europe, USA, this consumerism is a very powerful movement. Today, we get more and power not only offline. Now we can easily get together, get organized even online. So I remember that I have signed around 5 online petitions against some companies, mispractices, online petitions. You also may have engaged in some of these petitions, right? So today we can easily organize online using social media, right? There are some sites we can post our critiques, complaints, right? Against some companies. Again, any company we can put our complaint on certain websites, certain complaint websites. So there's an increasing power, right, that consumers get against business organization. That is one thing, right? In Sri Lanka, actually, we need to further strengthen this consumerism movement. It's not that much strong in Sri Lanka. Second, in the meantime, there's an environmentalism movement, right? You know that environmentalist groups, environmental concern groups get together, they organize, they establish organizations, they organize protest against companies, they take legal actions against companies, right? So every day, if you watch TV, you can see a lot of environmentalist groups' activities against bad practices of companies. That is another way that these people of societies face this problem. One thing is consumerism movement, right? As consumers, we need to get together, right? We get more power. In the meantime, environmentalism movement, we actually in society, this become more and more strong, and they pressurize more and more. Even they pressurize not only the companies, the environmentalist groups pressurize government to control these companies. companies, put new laws, regulations. Right? Then with this consumerism, consumers also, right, pressurize government, environmentalist groups also pressurize, they also organize activities, plus they pressurize government to do something. So therefore now government also actively engage in controlling, regulating market. Right? So that is widespread practice across the world. Governments in all countries impose new laws, regulations to control bad practices of companies, right? New laws, likewise. So that is another way as a society, as citizens, how we can face these too much profit-oriented business practices. So what are these three? Consumerism, environmentalism, and public actions to regulate market. Public here means government. Right? So, sorry, so that is how people and societies act with the support of government. So due to these pressures coming from people, environmentalist groups, government organizations, now companies are responding. That's really good. Right? Willingly or unwillingly, it doesn't matter. Willingly is better. So willingly or unwillingly, companies have to consider these things. Consumerism movement, environmentalism movement, pressures coming from these environmentalist groups, day by day government impose new regulation, right, controls to monitor company activities. So to face these things, now companies are reacting. This is how companies react, market reactions to these things. So today, increasingly, companies are using marketing ethics, right? They also adopt green marketing. Sustainable marketing is the most broader concept the companies try to adopt. Right? So these are not the buzzwords, right? Now, if I let you know something, now there are some foreign international companies, right? They find certain places, areas to grow plants. Right? For example, in Sri Lanka also have a good opportunity. They do not buy land, right? But when we do try to do these things, it's very difficult because all these things are misinterpreted by political viewpoints. That's a problem in Sri Lanka. But anyway, now these international companies, they try to find good lands to grow plants. For example, if they so we have some areas. So our university also have some forest now. These companies actually they want to look after certain areas. They grow plants. So why? Because they want to convince the world that their emission is zero or negative. So from their manufacturing process, they their emissions, their carbon dioxide, their level of emission this much. On the other hand, they grow plantation in certain areas of the world. Sometimes they can't find land from their countries. So that's why they search lands in countries like Sri Lanka. So they look after that area, they grow plants, and then they find oxygen level they produce. So when they're balancing, so that could be zero negative. They can claim. So we are really environmentally responsible from that. So these things actually happening in the world. A lot of companies, they want to increase their performance on social and environmental aspects today to survive in the long run. And most companies actually, they try to adopt these things, ethics, green marketing, sustainable marketing, in terms of two recent philosophies. Now I am again coming to the philosophies. Don't get confused, right? See the full picture. production philosophy, product philosophy, selling philosophy. Then we come to the most commercially viable one, marketing philosophy, but it has some problems. Too much profit orientation cause some problems to the other business, society and consumers. So there are some organized movements in the world, government regulations. To face these things, companies are now responding, right? In terms of green marketing, sustainable marketing. So when it comes to philosophical aspects, now they are trying to adopt societal marketing philosophy and holistic marketing philosophy. Right? I think, shall we stop with that? I think it's become too much, no? Or what do you think? If you want, I can continue till 12, or otherwise, or can I continue till 12? What do you think?
Okay, sir.
So, shall I continue? Okay. Oh, stop. No.
Let's continue, sir.
Okay, shall I only discuss the society market concept at least? Taking maybe 5 minutes. Okay. So, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know actually whether you like. Anyway, I'll continue only covering this first one, societal market. Okay. So, because that's really important to compare the market philosophy and the societal market philosophy. Yes, let's discussing both in one session. So now read this one. The societal marketing concept holds that the company's marketing decisions should consider consumers' wants, the company requirement, profits, and consumer long-run interest and society's long-run interest. Right. So let's go to the marketing concept. Okay. So please convert this marketing concept to the societal marketing concept. Actually, societal marketing concept emerged in 1980s to face these problems, right? Too much profit-oriented business practices as a better extension of the marketing philosophy. This societal marketing history emerged. So please convert this marketing concept to the societal marketing philosophy. Anyone would like to open your voice? If I ask you to convert this marketing philosophy to the societal marketing philosophy, rewriting this. Actually, you need not to rewrite, you need to add write another place to the end of this statement. How we can do that? Simply, so please listen. The marketing management philosophy holds that achieving organizational goals depends on knowing the needs and wants of target markets and delivering the desired satisfactions better than competitors do. Up to that, it's called the marketing concept. So I add this phrase: satisfaction better than competitors do in a socially acceptable way. After adding that phrase, you have converted the marketing concept to the social marketing philosophy in a social, responsible, social, acceptable, social, responsible way. So accordingly, the societal marketing philosophy is not against the marketing philosophy, it's an extension, right? So societal marketing philosophy also allow companies to earn profits. companies to earn profits. That's necessary. You should earn profits while satisfying customer needs and wants. Provide solution to customers, right? And earn profits. But don't forget the long-term social value. Right? So be a good citizen in the society. Don't become too much profit-driven company. You should earn profit. That's fine. But be a good citizen in the society. Do good for the society as well. You should earn profit, but sacrifice certain portion of the profit on the social value. That is simply what society marketing does. It's a more social-oriented commercial philosophy. So that is the society marketing concept. That urges companies to minimize these negative business practices, plus benefit the society to some extent. Right. So anyway, so that is that the social marketing concept further reflected in the next one, latest one. So I can discuss that in the next session. That's the holistic marketing philosophy. Right? Part of the holistic marketing philosophy is the societal marketing philosophy. So we can further discuss them. And so with that, I end the session. Otherwise, it will be too much, right? Actually, even these 3 hours lectures are too much for online sessions. Our undergraduate programs, we have only 1.5 hour lectures. So any questions, clarifications before I wrap up the session? It's time for you to ask questions, any comment, any clarifications.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, come.
In the whole concept of marketing,
Holistic.
Yeah, not the holistic. I mean, when we take the marketing as a whole,
yes.
Is there any argument that the corporation creating the needs and wants for the customers? Like,
yes, that's a very old debate, no? Kind of. Actually, generally, we believe that needs are biological. It's a very, very popular debate. Needs are biological because even marketers exist or do not, even products available or not, we feel hunger. So needs is generally believed that needs cannot be created by marketers. It's generally accepted, needs. But what marketers create are wants. That's the thing. So they can create unnecessary wants. Even meal, even food. How many things now we have? A lot of wants now. New varieties of meals, right? Appear every day. So they create new wants. Still, we have the hunger.
Yeah.
Even with a simple meal, we can fulfill hunger, but we would like to buy a lot of new things, new menus,
new taste, new flavors,
you know. So that is the thing. Needs cannot be created, but they actually create false or unnecessary wants. That's the problem.
Yes, all right. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome. So then, thank you, and so we can meet in the next session. So what's the basic difference between production concept and so I explained it. Production concept means you try to improve the production quantity to reduce the cost. That's a production philosophy. You assume that customers prefer low price, so therefore you try to increase the production volume to bring the cost down so that you can offer the product at low price. That's a production. Product philosophy is you try to improve the product performance and quality and features, assuming people-like product quality features, not the cost. First one, you assume people like low price product. Product philosophy, you believe customers prefer better products, quality products, products with improved performance. So that's the difference. So is it clear? Okay, thank you. So then I'll end the session. Thank you and see you again next time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.